Let's entertain a motion to approve the agenda, changing the future meetings to May 12th for school improvement and policy.
So moved.
May 19th, sorry, for facilities and budget, which is the regular schedule.
So you're just changing the
School improvement.
school improvement to the 15th,
No,
the
and
12th,
12.
both to the 12th.
right, new school improvement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
School community service, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments may dial or email their comments with their name and address, which must be stated at the beginning of their comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee efficient operation of the meeting. Is there anyone on the public line that wishes to address the board?
No.
Okay, thank you, Ally. Information sharing session, superintendent's report.
So I can't believe that we only have 7 weeks of school left. In some ways, this year has lasted for about 20 years. But now that it's almost over, I keep thinking about all the things that need to get done. So it seems very, very short. So we're trying to jam in a lot before June 21st. We have lots of things to celebrate. Our marching band has received yet another honor. They have been invited to perform at the 2022 National Memorial Day Parade in Washington, D.C., representing the state of Connecticut. Each state will feature a high school marching band who will be performing. Senator Johanna Hayes chose Torrington's marching band to have this honor next May. So we are very pleased and grateful for this acknowledgement of excellence. Many, many thanks to Charlotte Hungerford, Hartford Healthcare for providing vaccinations to our 16-plus-year-olds, so 16, 17, basically, some of our 18-year-olds went there as well. They provided the vaccinations to about 125 at the Armory during that dedicated vaccination clinic. So they set it aside just for Torrington students. There's a number of students who probably also received it outside. They could go to their own clinic as well, but we wanted to make sure that we were providing this for our students. We thought it was a great opportunity, and John Cavabianco, Brian Mattiello, Patty Sullivan have been phenomenal in helping us coordinate our community partners. So we definitely appreciate it. This week is Staff Appreciation Week. We definitely could not have survived this year without awesome staff who continue to meet the needs of our students. I just wanted to highlight some of the message that I sent out. So staff, you don't need this one. You received it, but I just wanted the board to have it. The statement that went out to the staff. Sorry, my fingers won't work, but I will read it to all of you. So hope sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. This has been, if you have an extra, pass it this way. There we go. Thank you. A year like no other. I can't thank you enough for being the light for our students when you were also in darkness trying to find your way during this pandemic. You have emerged stronger than your fears. Through failure, frustration, falling down and rising again, you continually move forward to offer your best to our students each day. It has taken our entire school community working in tandem to tackle the last year and a half together. No matter your role just in our district community, you have made a significant difference in the lives of our students and your colleagues. You have offered support to our students during this unprecedented time. You have been the hope and the connection to help them persevere. You have kept our students healthy and strong. You have ensured that our buildings are clean and safe. You have been their reason for coming to school each day, so they could see your smiling face each morning, so they wouldn't let you down, so they could laugh and sometimes cry with you, sharing because they knew you would listen. Regardless of the role you play, you have had an impact on our students' lives and each other. We are a community and extended family that inspires each other to grow and become stronger even in our darkest days. Through the pain, despair, and loss, you have been there. Many of our students and fellow colleagues have endured the unexpected, the unimaginable, and had to accept a new reality never experienced before. Through this pandemic, you have been resilient and brave. Thank you for all you are, all that you do for our students, and for your extraordinary dedication to the Torrington Public Schools community. Thank you for achieving the impossible every day. And I truly mean that with all my heart. It's been an incredible, incredible year. And people just keep rising to the challenge and pulling together. Because, thank you. And it was so funny because one of the teachers wrote back to me and said, I'm so grateful to work in this district, which is filled with the most incredible human beings. And I'm grateful to be able to do this work every day, the greatest profession on the planet. And I couldn't say it better. It was really beautiful. So starting on a positive note, if I may go into just Office of Teaching and Learning, because I'm kind of wearing a couple of hats here. So Sue was not able to be here this evening just because she had a family emergency. But these are the notes from her department. And they have been working very, very hard. We are really, really happy with the progress that they're making with all of our programs and plans for addressing unfinished learning from this year. And we are left in the capable hands of Maureen and Andrew. So I think Andrew is starting. So if you want to take it away, Andrew, and start with some professional development.
Of course. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Great to see you all. In the area of professional development, we have been continuing our work in all of the buildings on learning targets and embedded formative assessment. Also, we are partnering with the Center for School Change to provide an acceleration workshop to all of our staff. Back in March, our coaches, interventionists, and the OTL staff all attended the training. We were so impressed with it and truly believe in what it can do for helping with some of our learning gaps. So we're excited to bring it to all of our staff. At the end of June, our administrators will attend. And then in August on our PD day, we will provide this training to our staff district-wide. And now I turn it over to Maureen, who will speak about curriculum and instruction.
Thank you, Andrew. Good evening, everyone. We're going to continue our work on curriculum development at all grade levels. We also are looking at continuing to align with the standards and complete some of the work that we have been doing all year long. Our extended day programs are happening right now as we speak. At our elementary schools, we have 170 students receiving support after school in grades 2 through 5. Our middle school has 60 students receiving support in both English and math. And at Torrington High School, we have approximately 100 students receiving help both in skill development and with homework help and things like that after school. We continue our work at the Academic Resource Center at the high school during the day, and we're very excited to say that right now we have 130 students registered throughout the course of the day receiving help and support. That program has been very successful, and we're seeing some anecdotal evidence of a lot of growth with those students. You know, just some students where they had only passed 3 classes for the first semester are passing 7 classes now. So we're excited to see students really responding well to that additional student-centered support. In addition, we're going to look at trying to get a common Google Classroom template for all of our grade bands. And so what that's going to do is it will help our students and parents navigate multiple sites. We're going to be having teacher teams work together, create the common Google template that all teachers will use, and it'll just make a more student-friendly environment for all of our students next year. And lastly, our Grading Expectations Committee is going to come back together this Wednesday to look to see if we can develop some guidelines for secondary teachers using the data that we collected from teachers earlier in this year in February. So we want to continue that discussion on how we can continue to meet the needs of the students while also partnering with our teachers to have better outcomes for students. And now Andrew's going to finish up with assessment.
Well, we know the end of the year is approaching because we have entered the season of summative assessments, our favorite time of the year. Last week, we began the administration of the Next Generation Science Standards Assessment. This is an assessment given annually in grades 5, 8, and 11. And we will conclude that assessment this mid-May. Today, we began the Smarter Balanced Assessment in grade 3. Next week will be grade 4, and the following week will be grade 5. The middle school is doing something similar, and the Smarter Balanced is an assessment in both English language arts and mathematics. And then from May 11th through June 10th, the high school will be administering AP exams. And Allison Harold for technology.
So what's new in technology? We've been collaborating with the Office of Teaching and Learning on the assessments. It's always been in the past that, you know, we come to NGSS and Smarter Balance, we all start panicking a little bit to make sure the technology works. And it's been working beautifully. Thanks to my amazing team. We have everybody stationed on site and on call, ready to go. We work with the schedule, make sure we have loaner devices available in case, you know, because everybody brings the device to school charged every day. And
how about they bring the device first?
right. I've been holding back on giving out certain Chromebooks to make sure we have them available in each building. We'll have them through June, including for APs, but all Smarter Balance will be done by then. Now, over the past 12 months, you heard me talk about network upgrades. They have had a significant impact in these assessments because now in the past, the assessments would bring down the entire network and we could really not have two buildings test at the same time. We've come to a point right now where the assessment data on the network is no longer measurable based on the daily data that we consume with instruction. So they no longer make any impact in performance whatsoever. So I'm very proud of my team and thank you everyone for supporting us and making this actually work.
I just have to say that's really amazing because remembering that we have some students who are remote, some students are in person, and really Allie and her team have made it so this has been a relatively seamless process. She makes it look easy, but it's crazy behind the scenes. So many thanks. Many thanks, Allie. Many thanks, Andrew and Maureen, for giving your reports and jumping right in there. I appreciate that. Yes, and Allie, keep us posted on the testing as we move forward with all these fun challenges this year. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
On the curriculum and instruction, these numbers are fantastic for the extended day and all the additional supports that are being given at the schools. But of the number of students that are enrolled, are we taking attendance to see how many of them are actually attending every day?
Yeah, so that's part of it. We want to make sure that they're attending, that they're completing their work, that
Yeah.
they're moving forward. We're doing data assessment at all
Great.
times, just trying to track it. So it's
Yeah.
really on a weekly basis. What's the summary? How successful were we?
Oh, great,
know,
every week. That's good.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, we're tracking it every day, but then you're really
But
looking
it's
at it.
rolling it up at the end of the week. Sure,
Correct,
Yeah.
just to see where we're
Yeah.
at. Yeah,
Okay,
because it's
thanks.
really important and because we only have 7 weeks left.
Yeah.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
I have a question too. What percentage is still remote roughly?
So we have, I did bring it, hang on. Okay, so we have 934 out of, so probably still about a third in that 30%.
934 are remote.
934 out of 2,740. So you got to
We
figure
have
a
the-
third, a third, a third.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That,
That's on as an agenda item down.
okay. Are they able to participate in these?
Are they supposed to
Are
participate
they
in-
able to participate in any of these extended?
in the extended? And I have to defer to Andrew and Maureen in terms of how they're addressing our remote students. Andrew's nodding his head. Have you figured out a way to do that, Andrew?
Absolutely. So at each grade level, we do have at least one section in after school that is comprised of students who are learning remotely. So we are offering the after school program to our remote students as well. In terms of going back to Sue's statement about the attendance, what we have found, however, is it is more challenging to get our remote students to attend in the after school. And often what we hear from families is having attended a full day on the screen, 6 hours, and then having an additional hour has become a lot for those students who are learning remote, but nonetheless, we're still offering it.
Great.
Thank you.
Anyone have any other questions on this? Go ahead,
I
Jess.
have one. This just made me think of it, the section on assessments. Do we know when we're getting the SAT scores back?
Well, the individual students have them, right?
Yeah, we don't have any information. I have not received anything. Have you?
No, I haven't seen
OTL? Yeah. So, and I don't know if it would be a little bit longer this year because you had that whole remote element as well. And yeah,
We're
Okay.
vaccinated.
yeah, no, nothing yet. Sorry.
Okay, any other questions before we move on to special ed update?
Okay, I passed out my report since Mr. Barlow, my assistant, is not here to assist me. So, rather brief report for this month, but not that we don't have a lot of different things going on. We have had a little bit of an uptick. Andrew was talking about the time of assessment. Well, same is true in special ed. Because what begins to happen is I think that sometimes some parents begin to get a little bit nervous, especially if their child's going to transition. And so all of a sudden it's like, can you test my kid? So, we begin to get quite a bit of that towards the end. So we have done a few more evaluations. Our numbers are up a little bit, but we are still below state average on both our prevalence and our outplacement. So happy about that. On the second page, I do have the breakdown between the parent and the school referrals. And you could see that if you look at the percent that qualified, again, as I said the last time, 95% referred by the schools are qualifying. So showing that we've really done everything we needed to do before we are going to evaluation. We try to explain that to parents because sometimes they think evaluation is the answer, but it's not always the case.
Can I just repeat that again? What does that mean?
So what happens is that in order to be tested for special ed, you have to put in a referral. It can come from the parents or it can come from the school. And so in the school, we go through the multi-tiered system of supports. We really try everything in gen ed before we determine the disability and provide special ed. Sometimes parents get worried because, my child's not making the progress he should be, and they request that we go to PPT and sometimes test earlier than going through the multi-tiered system of supports. And, sometimes it's truly warranted and you'll see a child qualifying, but sometimes it's just really a matter of he probably did not need the special education. He just needed some more differentiated instruction. So I think Ed Corey had asked early on if we saw a difference. So I was curious. So that's why I started tracking that this year. And I hope that with further, information that I can provide to parents when we go to PPT meetings and we explain, we're not trying to stall anything. There's a reason for this, that they'll begin to see that. This year, as far as our move in and move out, really different than last year. Last year, we were always at that 2 to 1. Every time one left, we have 2 more. This year, it's really been status quo. I don't know if that's COVID or what's going on, but it's been very different. Right now, our big things are getting ready for ESY. We have many students that did qualify for the extended year services. And I'm really excited because we are able to partner with Camp Mo. Did I already tell you this?
No.
Okay, good. I was able to partner with them. that for some of our most impaired children that really need that camp social emotional as well as academic, we were able to work out a really nice deal that we're going to have some of our autistic children from the Voices program go there. And our special ed teacher is going to go there in the morning and do 3 hours of instruction at camp. And then the children are going to stay for the afternoon for the camp experience as well. And so Stephanie from Camp Mo was great. We got a great price for that. And so the parents are really excited. We're able to do it for 5 weeks. So that's a nice thing. And then in addition to that, we will have our regular ESY. There will not be any remote this year. It's all going to be in person. So our big thing right now is we're working on staff vacancies, and I'm kind of excited because we have had some applicants, and some of the people that we have interviewed have really been good. So it's really exciting. A lot of you could just see like some of the excitement, especially in the newer people coming into the field. I remember me 25 years ago. So it's really kind of exciting. And then the only other thing is working on what kind of training I need to think about providing between now and August so that we are set to hit the ground running when everybody comes back. Different training for different staff and whatnot. So that's where we are.
Anybody have any questions? Just have one, Laura. So do these kids normally get that amount of assistance in the summer?
So usually what would happen is they would get the full 5 weeks of the academic instruction. It's really been difficult to provide any extended amount of social emotional. We just really aren't sure how to make it work. I've thought about like, do we create our own peer camp model and bring in peers, but how long is that going to be? And would they want to come in if it was just an hour a day? And, you know, it's not that easy to figure out how to do it. So last year I started talking to Stephanie about this, and, you know, it really worked out because no, we would not normally be doing for that amount of time, but it worked out very nicely with this joint program. Those parents would have been sending their children probably for more than 1 week anyway. But it really will give them a nice opportunity, especially since they haven't been able to be with non-disabled peers very much this year. So I'm excited about it.
And then just one other question. So we had budgeted for this program? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm actually well under. When we look at our numbers last month, I didn't put it in again this month, but we are about half of what used to be recommended for ESY services.
Yes. Thank you.
I have one quick question. On this referral process
Yeah.
form, the column exceptionality, what does exceptionality refer to?
So in order to receive special education, you have to qualify very specific criteria in one of 13 categories. And those are just of the referrals, the categories that those students have qualified on.
The ones that did qualify.
That did qualify,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
The primary disability.
Gotcha.
Any other questions for the special education update? Okay. Board of Ed budget 2021, 2022. We put this on here because we weren't really sure what was going to happen last week, but the meeting went well, so we
Yes, it
really
did.
don't have
Yeah.
anything to really discuss.
It's
Unless
been
anyone
so
has
far.
anything to discuss.
Count your chickens. Like that
It's
was-
very, very cordial.
Yeah.
A few questions
Yeah.
with different.
Even Chris Bayes and Ed were on the same page.
That was confusing. And they like their technology ideas with the MacBooks. So
Nice, yeah,
it's good.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
very good.
definitely.
So they are extending, so we're not going to know our number
Mhm.
probably till the end of June,
Mhm. Yes,
maybe.
Who's
June
extending?
15th,
The
they're
city.
extending their budget
Oh
too,
my
so
gosh.
the
Wow.
city. Because it's a legislative session, so
Right,
it's
that's right,
longer
yeah.
anyway, and
Mhm.
they're not sure when the governor's going to propose his final budget or present his final budget, so makes it more complicated.
Do we still have to lock it by the end of June?
We
Or is that
can't,
extended?
No, we have to
We
allow
have to,
till the end of
right,
June, because we can't start paying anything till we finalized our budget,
because
so,
the new budget has to start July 1.
so leave those last 2 weeks of June semi-open, because we're probably gonna have to have some meetings once we do get our numbers, so.
Do you think they'll give us any sort of inclination as far as what they're thinking prior to that? Because if we did have to look at substantive cuts, that's not a lot of time to.
The only other 2 times this has happened, we didn't until they finalized, because the reason they're not committing is because they don't know the revenue amount. So I don't think this will be any different. So I think everyone will remember the year we actually delayed school because we were still not finalized. And we were still
Crazy.
mushing, and we were trying to
Yeah.
push the payrolls back
That's
because,
insane.
yeah, it was crazy year. So hopefully, I don't think we'll be in that situation this year, but so hopefully
No, I think we'll
the
have some
last
answers.
week of
Yeah,
June, we'll be able to finalize, or the week before, hopefully. So there's been a lot of positive feedback about the items in our budget, you know, a little bit of negative also, some little hate mail, but for the most part, it's been
About what?
positive. Yeah.
Would you characterize the hate?
Yeah, what do you-
mail? What was there of
What'd you get?
objection? in
No,
it?
just the superintendent got one of those, you know, looks like it's been pasted together type.
Yeah.
About
Just a
one of
little.
our endeavors.
just
So,
From the public?
Our new initiative.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's all good.
signed yet.
It's not signed.
No.
No.
So we don't
Ignore it.
give
Right.
credibility or
Right.
time to those things, but
But we
yeah,
also,
if somebody wants to give a call or
right, we're happy.
express themselves, we're happy to respond.
But there's also been a lot of very positive feedback from the
Yes, which has
community
been great.
relative
Should be.
to
Yeah.
addressing this for the whole community, so it's good.
It's all good.
Yeah. I've talked with more conservative members of the community, and they were shocked when I said the GB is coming at 1.26%. They said, "That's it?" Yeah. And I said our capital's a little higher, but but they were okay with that because they understand that capital is a long-term investment. So, so.
All right, any other questions on budgets? So we'll let you guys know as soon as we know, but don't expect it for a while. All right, American Rescue Plan Act.
So on the American Rescue Plan Act, we are also in a waiting game. We were told last week that we won't get more information until probably mid-May. Hopefully before. The amount is still the same, but we really do need to know those parameters. My guess is there won't be a very long turnaround time from when we get the information to when we have to submit that application. So we'll keep you posted on that. We're assuming that it will be a combination of operational as well as capital expenditures that we can put into that plan. So to be continued, forthcoming.
I'm sorry, they said this month they're gonna have some more information. Is that
Yes, they
what
promised. So mid-May, which is basically next
Couple
week.
weeks,
So,
next week.
so hopefully it's soon. So it would really help just to kind of plan and definitely to have some plan in collaboration with the answers we get from the city.
Mhm.
So.
Okay, thank you. Monthly financials.
I could do that one if you want, Ed. Yep. Okay. We're doing good. Really good. Actually, we're $1 million in the black, and about 96% of our budget has been expended, or at least figuring in 96% of our budget. So we're doing well. So hopefully next month it'll look as good, if not better.
And you'll get every 15 days, we'll update those numbers. Also, one other thing, remember the Alliance grant, construction grant, and we added Vogel, Wetmore, so the lights at Vogel, Wetmore are in. And we're gonna, because they're so good, we have to cut the trees around them so we can see them.
Isn't that pretty?
It's different. Oh, very nice.
You have to- If you don't, I can give mine. I got one. Okay.
Yeah.
You get to see.
Oh, it is.
No, no, take mine. You're good. I have pictures.
So as you can see, we hid the old ones,
They're good.
so you couldn't
Did you
see
get,
broken.
she has
So
to share.
Sorry.
Did you get a, John, did you
so there
get
are
one?
new ones in.
Here, Kathy. This Kathy.
Who's the photographer?
It was the woman who put them in. Send me the pictures
It's a
today.
nice picture.
Yeah, beautiful. Lots of good things going on at our buildings.
Oh, did you see that? Great.
So many thanks to John and Ed for making that happen. So it's lovely to have our buildings and our grounds being beautified and in a very functional way.
Hey, thank you. COVID-19 expenses.
You can do that one too if you want. We've received our fourth payment and for a total of $615,858.65.
Any questions?
So we're all set.
Hey, COVID update, end of year events.
So as you've heard from CDC, those people who have been vaccinated can be outside. You don't have to wear masks, except if you're at a school event and you have large gatherings. So I just want to say, we will be having outside events, but we will still be asking folks to wear their masks because we can't ensure, I mean, people will be 3 to 6 feet apart, but you know, it's just safer, just better. We don't know who's been vaccinated. We're not asking anybody to wear a scarlet letter V to let us know. It's all good. So we are doing the 8th grade event outside, the prom, graduation on our very own field this year, which is very, very exciting. That's where graduation will be. And we will be outside. We do have a rain date.
What about prom?
And prom will be outside as well. 8th grade celebration will
At one
be
of those,
outside.
Farm venue.
Yeah, so it'll be very nice. But there is still a place for dancing. They'll have a dance floor and coverage. So that'll really help for our older students, and then elementary activities will be outside when they're doing their field days and their runaround groups. And at the high school, they're gonna do a modified Raider rally. So they take a group of classes out at a time, but they'll be socially distant. And then we'll be able to have inside events. I know that Ronnie Tellermino is doing a drama performance this week. It's very, very small. We only have 50 that are going to be allowed so that you can space those folks out within the auditorium. And then because we're before the May 19th, after the May 19th, we have a little more flexibility. So the awards assemblies and such at the high school will be able to be spread out at the gym, but participation will be limited. So we'll be giving a number as to how many folks can come and be in the audience, but it'll be nice to get back to some sense of normalcy. These are all things that we missed sadly last year, and our graduating class had to do without. So we're very, very happy, feel very, very fortunate that we're able to do that this year. So I don't know, do you want me to just go ahead?
Is there
into
any
the-
questions on that before we move to remote learning?
So this is the guidance that came out of and it's only the interim guidance, okay? There's more to come, but I think that the state Department of Education really felt like they felt pressured by us, superintendents, to say, what are you doing? And it was really wonderful. I think acting Commissioner Charlene Russell Tucker really did want to get us some answers. So the answer, as I'm sure you've already heard, is that there is no requirement for remote education next year, no requirement to offer that. However, we're still looking at some different strategies and some different situations where remote or virtual learning may be applicable. So we are going in person. We are so happy that that's happening. That's how we're going to start the year. But at the bottom of this document on the very first page, you can see some possible considerations, and some of this needs to be fleshed out. On a positive, you know, students being able to take more advanced placement courses, or maybe something we're not offering in a district that someone else is, or maybe our community colleges, higher level or specialized classes or tech education that could be offered virtually. Really making sure that we have support for our students, and maybe to accelerate and address that unfinished learning or any learning loss that will be in addition, those supports that could be done virtually, maybe a small group instruction for students. Making sure that we are addressing student needs and education, even when we have building issues such as heating, plumbing, inclement weather, those kinds of things. I know that we will still do snow days, but if we get long and far and beyond our 5 days, we may want to have that chat again about doing some type of remote learning, since the teachers are all well versed in it. We will not be doing, and I just want to be clear, any of this, you know, where the teacher is teaching to students in their class and teaching to the students at home, because that synchronous learning, that was, I feel that, and many do, that the students who are at home were at a disservice, and the students who are in person were losing out also. So to do both and do both well was just impossible, much more difficult than we ever dreamed possible. So I applaud everyone for having the valiant effort, putting that forth and doing their very best, but we don't want to go back to that. So this just gives you some idea. I wanted you to have it in your hands so that you could see what's being worked on. Other things that have been talked about is possibly doing a regionalized model for remote or distance learning, such as our RESCs, offering that at Advance would be the ones who would be providing it for us. And if that's the case, then it would be for students who are medically fragile or have an issue where they really couldn't, their immune systems are compromised or couldn't come to school. So any questions on that? Kind of gives you an overview, and to be continued, as I said. This is just the first of many.
Jeff?
Have they talked at all about, like I see this line here, potential need for a classroom quarantine? Have they talked about any possible changes to like the quarantine guidelines and all of that?
We ask them every week. So we are hoping that that gets stricken forever by the time we get to the fall, just because it is so very difficult. And we really don't feel like there has been classroom transmission, at least in our district, and many superintendents are echoing the same. And so to have, and certainly we had to follow whatever the health guidance was. So we have adhered to that. However, it's made it difficult because you could have anywhere from, you know, a few students, 2 or 3, to 25 students out at a time in a classroom. So very, very difficult.
And you can't get rid of your synchronous learning if you have half your class out in quarantine.
Correct.
Right.
And so then it gets more funky, right?
Yeah.
Because if the teacher's been vaccinated, and then so he or she is going to be in the building, and then not reaching and teaching the students who are in person versus the students who will be distance. So yes, then it makes it more problematic. So we are really hoping that that goes away. Yeah, but we don't know yet. We'll keep asking every week though.
That's all right.
Do you have any insight into why we still have 30% remote?
I think
Like why
because
parents are still choosing?
sure, I think that some folks really feel like they started on remote and they're going to continue. some students may be immunocompromised, so then it's a medical reason. And some folks just feel like, okay, and I know Laura has mentioned this as well, some students have done really well within the remote. And so I know that my granddaughter's out in Nevada and we're, it's not Connecticut, but she was just telling me she has a full-time job, plus she's trying to go to school, plus she's, and she said, you know what, Bobchi, I just wanted to do it this way. I'm in my senior year. I've got to make some money before I go to college. And so for some kids, it may be that issue. So.
But are we giving the kids we're not giving the kids the option, are we?
Not next year.
Not next
Right,
year,
next
but
year.
we had to obviously offer it this year. Yeah,
Right,
you
no,
were
I know
asking
that.
about
I
this
was
year,
sorry,
right?
asking about
Yeah.
this year.
I think some of it too is just fear, like some of the parents are
Sure.
just afraid to send them.
Well, and I will
Yeah.
say that as far as like with the quarantine guidelines still being in place, if a kid stays home, they don't run the risk of having to quarantine.
Right.
If they go to
exactly.
school, they run the risk of showing up as a contact and having to quarantine, and that's more disruptive. So,
True, and I think especially for our older students who wanted to participate in a variety of different things, they're saying, hey, if I stay home, then I don't run that risk at all, in terms of missing those activities and things.
Because that will be, I don't know if you want to just clarify that piece of it. So if you are elect to do this offsite remote program next
Right.
year, then you would not participate in any of the after-school activities.
Right, so we'll keep clarifying what the terms are for that, but as we are looking at remote next year, if folks are choosing that, we totally understand, but then we are assuming that that would be for medical reasons, so we wouldn't want you to be exposed in terms of, sports or drama or after school or what have you. It would be more restricted, and if our RESC is offering that remote option regionally, then that's going to be a very, very separate program.
Armin?
Yeah, has Ed Advance said anything about it? Because I know, my understanding that ACES is going to offer a remote option for their areas, school districts, and some school districts already said they're going, that's the direction they're going with their online students.
Right, and so Jeff Kitching, who is the head of Ed Advance, has been speaking with us as superintendents, and we've been working it out over the last few weeks. So I'm assuming that they're going to be doing that, but we don't have all the nuts and bolts worked out at this point.
Any other questions? I think this is great for our kids. They need to be back in school. We can do it, so.
We'll have it in May. At least
Yeah,
something in May, right?
Right. Okay, location of future Board of Ed meetings after May 19th.
Botches.
Thought it was going to be Chipotle.
I know, right?
That's true. No, 31st, they
Not
say.
yet, okay, well, we're close.
I don't think they serve alcohol.
So I just wanted to put the location of future board meetings on this because it would be nice to end the year meeting in person with some folks like our Litchfield County Superintendent Award winners. Just a small little gathering and acknowledge them. We also have received accolades once again for unified sports. So it would be nice to have those folks join us and just not that people don't care, but not as many people come to our June meeting because it's toward the end of June. A lot of people have already left and vacations and their minds are in a different place. But that, no offense to anybody, but the May meeting is kind of a nice culminating. And even if we could just have a small gathering, I just wanted to put it out there. If the board felt comfortable, we could do it at Torrington. That has a totally separate entrance. We would only be allowed in the media center. It's the same place where we hold our building committee meetings. And then people from the public could come and sit and partake and then exit out that door as well, if the board so chooses.
So the proposal would be that we meet at Torrington for May and June meetings, and then start back at the high school in August
What's our
What's the
normal?
capacity gonna be at that time for indoor gatherings?
So indoor, you can move
After May
to
19th?
50%, which is fine, but we're all gonna have to wear masks, and Kathy, you probably know probably at least 250 in that big section.
Close.
But we'll
Yeah,
get,
I'm not-
yeah, but I don't think we'll even have
No, but I
100
was just
people
curious
there,
what the
but
number
yeah.
was and where, yeah.
So I think we'll be okay, and as long as we can be, distant and separate from those folks coming in, which we can set up the chairs so that
Right.
it accommodates our guests, that would be great.
The benefit with Torrington is you can enter in and
Yeah.
out from the outside to the library without going through any of the
Through the
school.
yeah.
You couldn't use the caf and use the back door to the cafeteria. That would be a larger space if you needed it.
That's true.
You
We
know,
could
there's
set
that
up
back
chairs.
door.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had 125 people at our meeting.
No, I know, but I don't know. I don't know how many people we're gonna be
25.
celebrating.
Besides teachers.
The only issue with the cafeteria is the amount of tables that are set up with the dividers on them and stuff. It would be quite a task to
That's true.
relocate and move all of that stuff in order to have the meeting.
Yeah. I forgot about the tables. The gym.
That's true.
So
You
is
get in and out
anyone
the gym,
opposed
too.
to leaving the conference room here?
Tables there too.
Oh, I don't know. Are there?
Yeah, I think they spilled
So where's the air
over. So they
conditioning
can
better?
spread them out.
There.
They're using a portion of it.
And no screaming.
You
neighbors.
know, have
Because
to
there's
ask
two
Kelly.
doors there on that.
Yeah,
the
on
gym.
that end.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have just one question. if
Go ahead.
anybody- And how many members of the employees, or whatever you want to call them, teachers, administrators, and parents have not gotten vaccinated? And how will that impact next year? How will we deal with that if they're still afraid to participate in some things, and we decide that for the majority rules that we're going to do things? How do we address their issues if they're not going to get vaccinated?
Well, you can't force somebody
No,
to
I know you
get
can't.
vaccinated. We're very fortunate because even when we had the big push and we had those clinics available to our employees and just the age group of our population, which is really 25 and above,
Right.
right? Which is all available for vaccination now. We've had about 70% or better. We won't know the exact percentage because there were a lot of people who also utilized other clinics
Right.
and their services, but it really, we had
Hopefully it's up to 80.
we had a consistently good response. Kim and I were tracking that, and Ed, I know, worked with me in terms of connecting with Charlotte Hungerford and Harvard Hospital.
Okay.
So I think people were very, very excited and felt very relieved.
I just
To
hope
be
we don't
able
have
to
to
have
make,
it.
I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of the vaccination, or I'm not. Most of my family is against it. And I got it. But hopefully it doesn't influence some of our decisions. If some people choose
Sure.
not, I don't want, in my opinion, I wouldn't want to make policy decisions based on those who don't. That's all. I don't know how
Right, I think
I can't
that's
think of
gonna
things that would
be-
come up, but might be something to consider.
We have discussed some of that on the state call as far as if we would have to pay for quarantines if you
That's what I thought.
voluntarily elected to not get the vaccination. And they have not made a final decision on that yet. But it has been discussed, so, because I think that will be kind of the difference. Go ahead.
Is it safe to assume that since our students will be expected to come in person, that our staff will all be in person as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the
Yep.
expectation.
Absolutely.
So do you think if that happens next year and the governor doesn't act, that we'd have to, would we get money back from the state, you think, or no? Because if it is, let's say it's 30%, it still could, if it continues, it still could be a pretty sizable number that we don't have in our budget for quarantining.
Right.
Can we extend to next
Well,
year?
if you
Or is that part?
remember, it kind of, where we weren't gonna pay and then they came back and paid.
No, I
So
remember,
they're
yeah.
kind of at that stage
Right.
right now, so I think it's really in their
guess
hands.
we'll
on
find
if
out.
They're requiring
Yeah.
us to pay.
Yeah, I don't think that's worked out yet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think if they stop the payment.
Right.
Where you're gonna get paid, then I think you're gonna see more people either just coming in or at least getting vaccinated.
Right.
But I
Oh,
mean,
you're saying if we stop the payment?
Yeah.
That's right, the state reimburses
no,
us,
the
okay.
state- the
We
state-
can't stop the payment
Correct.
right
No,
now.
right now, but I'm talking
If
about
it
the
comes to
state's
that.
order, if
Right.
they stop that order. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I mean, if you know we have 70% and then there's other people who probably got it outside, I mean, you're looking at 80-90% of the staff, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's definitely
Hopefully
that
they
a
stay
huge
vaccinated,
majority,
so
yeah.
I
So we're
think we're in
very
good shape.
fortunate. Yeah, I do too. And I think more people reconsidered or, you know, even those folks who were waiting now said, you know, it helps with travel, it helps with whatever other restrictions, or some of my family won't have me at my
Right.
family
Yeah.
gathering unless I get it. So, okay, I'll get it because I want to see grandma, or I want to see
Yeah.
the baby or whatever, because there's, you know, we've been apart for so
Oh, I
long.
know
So
that.
it's nice to have those celebrations.
Sue, did you have a question?
I was wondering to Jess's question about requiring faculty to come back, if students have to come back. Do we know if there are any that will choose to not return for fear of medical reasons or whatever that might be? And would their union contracts prevent us from taking any action?
I don't know if we would have anyone. Kim could certainly
Kim's
speak to
raising her
the,
hand.
the contract issue.
So it wouldn't be the contract, it would be the Americans with Disabilities Act. So we would just have to comply with all the regulations of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So, and that would be.
That's assuming they had a
within or
disability.
within- With
Right,
COVID or
right.
with any other medical situation that any employee was going through,
Mhm.
they would have to provide us with their documentation, tell us what their situation is, ask us tell us what accommodations they would like, and then we would engage in an interactive process to determine whether or not we could reasonably accommodate that. And if we can't reasonably accommodate it, then we could look at other options like providing a leave of absence or something like that, which is typically what any attorney would say that, you know, if we can't accommodate it on site, then a leave of absence, an unpaid leave of absence is always a reasonable accommodation. So there's a lot of different conversations and dialogues that have to happen depending on the length of the disability, the length of the issue, and what we're talking about. But there has to be a light at the end of the tunnel. So there has to be, you know, it can't be I can't come in person indefinitely. It would have to be, there would have to be a dialogue.
Any other questions? Okay, policy number 3050, school activity fund, updated.
We actually had a meeting.
Yay.
On page 16 and 17, there's I think it was 3 business managers ago. The person was personally named. So our intent was to take off that name, and after much discussion, it was decided on that it would be Administrator of Business Services. And that's the only change we made.
Any questions? Go ahead, Nikki.
I don't know, I can't remember if it's in this one or the other one. The other thing I thought had been discussed at a different meeting was removing the threshold for when the fundraisers have to go to the board.
That's not in our
Yeah.
policy.
Oh.
It's a procedure that was
procedure.
done by
Should've
someone
known. Right. Okay.
outside of the board. That's, we don't know where that came from.
Right.
Nope. No other questions on this one before we move to sudden cardiac arrest awareness for intramural and interscholastic athletics?
Oh, that's a mouthful.
So, yeah, upon reviewing this, Kim, we didn't have one, although the athletic department was following the procedures, we just didn't have it in writing, so we needed to have it in writing.
Any questions on that one? Okay, Federal Adult Education Program Enhancement Projects Grant.
Okay, so this is a grant that we've had for a number of years. We're just one of 3 in the state, so we're honored to have this grant. We are recognized for this grant. It doesn't cost the district anything. It's just, all we have to do is offer space. so it doesn't detract. The focus is from birth to 3, and it's parenting skills. So we really are trying to give our families parenting skills, as well as it's a dual generation grant. So it also helps these parents get jobs as well. It focuses in on our bilingual parents. So they are learning in Spanish, they are learning English, they are learning how to get a job, and also getting used to our education program. It's a very small family-like community, so it really, really helps. Pam LaRosa was there just last week and helping these folks get some jobs, and identifying skills and getting their resumes together so that they can be gainfully employed in the community. So it's very exciting. We'd love to keep that going. And as I say, there's so many benefits, and it doesn't cost the district anything.
Where is this held and when and how much is the grant?
So Vogel Wetmore, and the cost for the request for the federal funds is $50,000, which is on page.
It's after
the first, it said, that's right. So in the appendix A, you see it, and then it gives a little bit of a, thank you, Armand. On the second page, gives you a little breakdown of it. And then the matching funds, it says 10,000, but that's just our space. We don't give them $10,000.
Go ahead, thank you. Do we have like a waiting list for this program? Like of parents that want to be involved but can't because of like reaching their max, because it says only 10 parents.
Right, so it's actually been self-generating, because what will happen is parents will graduate from the program and then they'll get a job and they won't be able to participate as much. So slowly, they age out, if you will, or experience out. And then new folks come in, and because it has such a great reputation, then it just grows itself. Certainly we share that information with our families. We have a wonderful liaison, Jenny Garcia, who's a translator for us, but she's also been working with this and with our families for so long. She really has gotten the word out into the community, and it makes a huge difference. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah, it was just a little bit about what we talked about at the Board of Finance meeting, right? About, Jerry, you brought it up.
Yeah.
About offering these type
Right.
of supports for parents and,
I wish it would be bigger, at least at the local level. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we only have so much money, but we could probably use 10 times that.
Sure, absolutely. And as Donna looks for more grants, like I said, this program has been so successful because this particular one runs very small, so they almost become this little extra family unit, extended family, and they help each other with parenting skills. They continue to talk about things during the week, and then they come back and they share strategies, as well as how they can build their resume and their skills so that they can go out in the community and find jobs. So it really does end up really impacting our community in a huge way, in a really positive way.
Any other questions on that? Okay, distinguished alumnus, John?
The process has been going on for several months, as it always does. A lot of work for Sue Ferguson to bring us the information in a form that we can use then to choose somebody to receive this award. There were 12 nominees this month, and some of them quite highly qualified. Difficult decision, and the School Improvement Committee voted to recommend to the board Stephen Roskowski from the class of 1975.
Big class.
As the recipient for this year, and that'll be coming to a vote of this board later on in the agenda.
Does anyone have any questions regarding the specific selection?
Just a great choice. I wasn't involved in it, but he's a great guy, great man.
President and CEO of Quest Diagnostics.
Okay, no questions? All Right, school calendar 2021, 2022.
So hopefully you won't get tired of looking at this calendar. I know it's coming back again. So as we thought about this calendar proposal yet again, we'd really like to change the February PD day on the 18th, take that out. We would keep the one on the 22nd, that PD day. I know it's embedded in all that other good stuff there. And then what we do is move that PD instead of February to August, because we still feel like there's so much PD to be done as we are still adjusting and post-COVID. And so that the PD days would be the 30th, the 31st, and September 1st. And then the first day of school would be the 2nd. And so the first week would be the 2nd and 3rd instead. It would just give us more time, and we really feel like that's essential.
And then the last day would go.
You wouldn't have to worry about it because it would just be a flip-flop.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Because, yeah. Because they'll go to school on the 18th.
What is on the 27th?
On the 27th of which month?
August?
The 27th of August is nothing. We wouldn't. So the only reason that the 25th and the 26th are colored is for the new teachers. So that's when new teachers come and they meet with Kim, and Kim goes through all her introduction and staff and all of that good stuff. Teachers don't have to come, teachers at paras, our convocation is all on August 30th. So that's kind of the kickoff. So the 30th will still remain convocation. So we'll have the 30th, the 31st, and September 1st as our PD days.
Seems to have everybody come in for the 2nd and 3rd to then go off to a long weekend.
Unless you want to wait till the 7th and then just add the 2 days.
And what does everybody think?
What would be, so if we add.
So that would take us to the 17th or the 24th, we would get out.
I feel like for parents, it's a nice ease into this new routine of going in for a couple days.
Couple
and then you have,
days
like,
and
one
then,
day
yeah.
off, and then you
Yeah.
kind of.
I think people might kind of like that. Actually.
Yeah.
Versus the end of the year,
Yeah.
because I feel like the June days are.
With only 2 days in that week, how many people will say, well, for only 2 days, I'm gonna wait to send my kid to Tuesday?
We can, yeah,
Have
we
we
can't
experienced that
tell.
before?
But I think that people traditionally get very excited about the first days of school. Everything's all nice and new, squeaky clean, and you get to wear your new outfit and all of that. Maybe not so much at secondary, but I think kids are still really excited. I know as a teacher, I was always excited for the first day of school. So I think
That wouldn't be a factor, then. You're not worried about that.
I'm not.
That was my only question.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think it's a good idea to
Gently.
ease in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plus it's September. It's not like
Yeah.
it's a day in August.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's
Yeah.
September.
It's not August
Yeah,
30th or
right.
something.
Just one other clarification. So the half-day Wednesdays are gone, except for the monthly PD ones?
So
those are Thursdays.
those are Thursdays. Yep.
So going back to what we did.
Yeah, I would
before.
love to keep the Wednesdays, except we won't have enough minutes
Right.
because we
Right.
tried.
Right.
I mean, at some point, we may want to add on a few minutes, but I mean, that takes a whole nother plan, and then
Mhm.
we'd be sending you another calendar. But, so we went back to the Thursdays at this point, early dismissal.
You couldn't do that on a Wednesday instead of Thursday?
We could do it on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. Doesn't have to be a Thursday. Parents are used to having shortened days on the Wednesday, so it might be easier for them. So we could certainly entertain that.
I'm not opposed to Thursdays either, I'm just.
Is there any history behind why Thursday was picked as a day?
I don't know why Thursday was
I don't
picked. That
know
was way
if
back
anybody
during
recalls that.
Cheryl's time.
I wasn't
So I
on the
don't-
board at the time, so.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember.
thought Thursday was originally picked because the late buses ran on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the middle school.
Oh.
But they didn't run on Thursdays.
And that would make
Maybe
sense. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
But it
was
was
the day that
something
kids
like
weren't
that.
staying after school was the Thursday, I think. Do you remember that?
Wow.
I do.
Tied to the late
I
bus.
do.
Yeah,
I
so,
do.
I mean,
I don't
it
remember.
doesn't matter what day, you would just have to change any type of after school that has a transportation like a late bus to a different day if it is that Thursday or that Wednesday, right? So that
Yeah.
would be, you just have to swap things around. So you, I don't know if it's an issue.
But late buses are gonna be Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
I don't
We
think
can
they are.
adjust.
You can
I
probably do
mean,
any day,
certainly we
any
could
day
do,
you want.
right, we
You
could
haven't decided
adjust
that
too.
yet.
They're non-existent right now.
Correct,
right?
because.
So we're just starting over.
Yeah.
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 So we could do anything we want, or they can do anything they need.
Right, so we could do late bus on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or, I mean, it doesn't, either,
And
we're
what,
open,
and what day is the meeting day during the week for buildings?
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays is the meeting day.
Whatever's
I
least.
mean,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, I think that's where what it was late buses, and so people
Yeah.
were just working around
Mhm.
busing.
Makes sense.
I mean, is the board comfortable leaving it at Thursday and then maybe you guys can talk to the
Yeah, we can work it out with the
staff
busing
and
Just
Yeah.
building
company.
everything and then
and-
come back and let us know? or-
Sure,
If there's a change, let us know.
Yeah, just let us know if there's a change.
okay,
Because,
I'll bring it back again.
because they might have, a better idea that might work in the
Okay.
buildings that, we don't know about.
Sure.
So is everybody okay tentatively approving it
Mhm.
so that people can see all the other days and then we'll work out the half days later?
So starting the second
Yeah, that's the proposal.
and taking away the 18th. Okay.
Okay, healthy food certification.
You do this every year, we get about, this year we get about $58,000 from the state on healthy food, so you have to approve the language there.
Any questions on healthy food?
No.
Okay, committee reports, budget.
Budget, we haven't really been doing much, but, no, actually, no, we've been doing a lot. Going over, this year's current budget, and we're looking good in next year's budget, and cross our fingers, we're also looking good. I mean, our meeting, which I think everybody was there, our meeting with the Board of Finance and the mayor, I thought went exceptionally well. And I think we're all on the same page, at least for this year's coming budget, so it's a good thing. So, and we'll always have something to talk about in budget. So.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see the parameters of the American Rescue Act.
Yeah.
'Cause I believe it's $6.1 million, Ed?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a nice piece of change.
Mhm.
Thank you, facility and technology committee.
This is probably one that we didn't get a lot done, but we did submit our budget to the city for capital improvements. It seemed to go well, but even Chris and I agreed on something. Well, that's not true. We've agreed on many things, but and repeat of the other things we've been going over for quite a while. Window project, security grant updates. One thing that came up was field usage. We didn't come to a conclusion on that. We're not happy that we're paying for the fields. And we don't know where we're going to, what fields we're going to use next year, but John's working on that. So that was about it. Didn't get much.
Just for clarification, the facility committee, so I'm gonna write a letter to the city about requesting a waiver of the fee for the high school baseball team to play at Peace Park. Unless there's custodians or expenses that are incurred for us using the fields. So
I think they have somebody come down and shut the lights off at night.
Yeah. So $200 a game for times all the varsity games. It's not a little amount of money for the baseball team.
Most of the games are really this afternoon anyway. We don't even get lights.
Yeah.
They've been about 3:45 last couple
Yeah.
hours.
So we figure it's worth sending a letter to open the dialogue
Sure.
to see what we can
Did
do.
we discuss some kind of a trade-off with them on something?
We're trying to see exactly what could
Bargaining
be.
tools we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about that? Do we have to budget for some of that into next year's budget?
We haven't budgeted for any of it
Right,
because we
yeah,
didn't
no, I
know about it.
Definitely know this year, but what about for the 21, the one we just signed off on, or, yeah.
Well, but when our budget was, we didn't find out about this till after we
Yeah.
had finalized our budget, so we'll have to work on it.
At least keep it out, yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be part of the conversation.
yeah, I mean, it just, to me personally, it seems like double taxation, like we're, the city
Paying for
funds
the-
our budget, and then we're gonna pay to use their fields out of the money that they gave us to run our budget. It just doesn't make sense. But we'll see. So we'll open up that dialogue and see where it goes from there. All right, school improvement.
Our meetings continue to be very well attended by staff as well as board members, for which we're very appreciative. We've been listening to the school improvement reports, and at the last meeting, we heard the school improvement plan for Vogel, Wetmore, and Torrington schools, and in 2 weeks, Forbes and Southwest School improvement plans are up, and that information has been sent out for anyone who wants to read it in advance and come in prepared with questions if you have any, or at least prepared to understand more efficiently what the report has. And that's about it.
Thank you. Policy.
Sue and Kim are continuing to look to see what policies need to be updated, or what we have, what we don't have and need to have. And so that's just continuing.
Thank you. Building committee, Ed.
Yep, we finalizing the design of the school where it is, and the parking area by Bessie Park. Mario and I met with the mayor, police department, park and rec, city planner, public works director, to let them know where the parking is and where the new entrance is going to be. The only problem that the police department is looking at, the new entrance is close to Amherst Street. So that may be a problem, so we may have to flip it again, but that's it. The site survey will be ready this week. We'll ship it off to the mayor and everybody else to show them we already encroach on Bessie Pond because of the tennis courts. So the building will encroach a little bit on it, and we're working on the area where the parking is now, that they will not deed it over, but give us the site for that area once we have the site survey. We did have SLAM's consultant for energy conservation. They gave us a report on 3 different ways for energy conservation, and that ONG is working on pricing for that. And then we hired a commissioning company, and we're moving right along. We're still waiting. We're still working with SLAM and ONG on their contract, which we haven't finalized yet. So they're not getting paid. So we should work harder to get it done. So we have a meeting Thursday. I sent everybody out the reminder, and the agenda will be done tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, does anyone have any liaison reports?
I do.
Nikki and then Sue.
I have Vogel. So their superintendent's award winner for this year is Chase Pitts. We are proud to have him representing us at the LCSA event. A lot of shout outs for facilities here about the new mulch on the playground, the new lights. They're very happy. It keeps the building looking fantastic. The new stair treads. They celebrated Beach Day the day before April break. So the school was filled with Hawaiian shirts, and students brought in beach towels to read on. So it was a great shift to start their break. they're starting the testing, as we heard about before. And then this week is Teacher Appreciation Week or Staff Appreciation Week, and they consider every adult in the building a teacher at Vogel. So I can't give any insight into what's happening this week because we don't want to spoil any of the surprises. So thank you to all of the staff.
Thank you.
Lily, our truck was the Southwest, and Southwest is my school, sorry, is the recipient of the Litchfield County Superintendent's Award. Lily was chosen based on her poster project primarily that she initiated, and picked 9 winners, and we're in the process of having the podiums built for her that will be installed by the town, by Park and Rec, I think is going to do it at the Sue Grossman River Park, the walkway. And through donations that we were able to secure, the kids that all entered the contest, I'm going to pick them up a Dairy Queen gift card so that they all get something. Because I think there were 9 winners and 12 entries maybe. So we're going to do something like that for them. Their LAS Links test for English learners is complete. The next gen science testing for grade 5s is complete. Several of their distant learners came in to do the testing and were so excited about being back in the building that they're trying to now get them to transition back to in-person learning, which is exciting. Smarter Balance testing week of May 10th is grade 4, the week of the 17th is grade 5. After school power up extended learning days are on Mondays and Thursdays, up and running, going well. They have 35 students participating. They're very grateful to the coaches for all of the work and for the Office of Teaching and Learning for getting the program going. The past two spirit days were a lot of fun. Earth Day, they dressed in earth tones or recycled products, which was entertaining. This past Friday was Fancy Friday, where they glammed it up. There's pictures. I can get those to Allie at some point just for everybody to view. They're planning a Memorial Day program for the 28th, honoring Uncle John, the veteran that passed away. Yep. They did something last year for him, and they're working on it this year. Judy Thebe, their previous principal, was related to him. So there's quite a connection, like with the whole neighborhood. So they're planting a viburnum in his honor. It has white fragrant balls in the springtime that bloom, and the foliage turns red in the fall. So that's going to be planted in his honor. The THS ROTC Color Guard will also be participating in the event that they're doing, and Ashton Tyler will be playing the taps. So I just got goosebumps.
When that is?
Yeah, it's on May 28th. Sounds really great.
Do you know what time or?
No, but I'll find out.
Okay.
We didn't get a chance to talk this week because we had conflicts, but I'll talk to her and find out the time. This week is Staff Appreciation Week, as well as Wednesday being Nurses Appreciation Day. So the PTO there also has events planned for their staff. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want to ruin any surprises. I don't know what's a surprise and what's not.
Right.
So I will follow up and get the time that the event will happen on the 28th.
I think it's in the morning. I just can't
I
remember.
think it's 11:30. I was just trying
Yeah.
to check. my
Is it?
I think. Let me see if I
And you
She may
have to
email me
call
if she's on the
to
phone.
let them know if you're
can-
going.
Yeah,
because
I'm
they're-
taking numbers.
Yeah,
Well, will it be outside?
with parking and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have any liaison reports? Gary, sorry.
It's been a couple of months, but we have it from Torrington. It's been my fault, not Principal Galulo's. There's a drop-in principal's virtual coffee hour on May 6th. That's this Thursday. 6 to 7, all families are welcome and encouraged to drop in virtually, stop by and share your ideas or ask general questions. Specific student concerns can be addressed by calling or emailing. Kindergarten registration, just a reminder, spread the word to your friends and neighbors. The more accurate our enrollment, the better we can plan the needed number of kindergarten classrooms and class placement. Let's see. Go by class here. Mrs. Mangan's class is problem solving. Every day is Earth Day in kindergarten. Miss Mangan's class has been learning about making a change in the world as they took a walk. They were unhappy to see so much trash around the school. John, they decided we should make up.
I don't think he heard you.
I'm just kidding, but it does say that. It didn't say John. They decided we should pick up the trash to help our school and the earth. They're very proud of their work. They've been learning about persuasive writing, identifying problems in the school, classroom, and community. This is a good one. Dear Mrs., this is the kids. Dear Mrs. M, the kids in the cafeteria are getting out of their seats and running around. Please have the monitors make a list of kids who are running around. They can give the list to the teachers. The teachers can talk to the kids.
That's so cute.
That's kindergarten, yeah. Let's see, first grades. I'm gonna take a few extra minutes here too, Ms. DeFreitas. First grade scientists. In science, the first grade classroom learned about camouflage, the purpose and some examples. First graders tried their skills at moth hide and seek, where they tested their ability to spot camouflage moths hiding in the paper trees on the hallway bulletin board. Second grade. Second graders learning that nonfiction readers learn the author's purpose by thinking, what is the author trying to tell them? Camping day, Mrs. Giampaolo's second class. By striving to be respectful, responsible, and safe in the classroom, the students in Mrs. Giampaolo's class earned a special celebration camping day. They read books by the fire to their favorite stuffed animal and used the flashlights to see.
How fun.
Third grade visits the National Audubon, Sharon Audubon Center virtually, called Animal Menagerie. They were able to see live animals like the Madagascar cockroach, python, box turtle, and the falcon. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Scientist and Mrs. a good one. Mrs. Bernetti and Mrs. Considine's class. Continuing their research projects, in addition to studying teeth, jaws, and bird beaks this week, we learned that we can determine what an owl eats by dissecting their pellets. Just what we want to do.
Yes.
Owl pellets are a combination of the undigestible parts.
That's a big hit.
Yes, the owl pellet stuff came home.
They did, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that's a
Some
big
were
hit.
very excited to show.
They're all looking at them really close here. They do have gloves on though.
Yep.
They
That's
do have
good.
gloves and masks on. And that's all she wrote.
We all learned something new today.
Thank you. Does anyone else have?
Hey, I just have a heads up because I have the email from Mary Ann. Friday, May 28th at 11 a.m. Is the dedication of the flowering bush to the neighbor. And the ROTC will be there. And then she just wrote here, please let me know if you are planning on attending. We are being cognizant of our number of participants for social distance purposes. So it's 11 a.m. on the 28th.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
John.
Jess, and then John?
Oh, John, did you?
At Advance, in the same situation we've always been in as far as the summer and remote learning that you were talking about, and now that there's some guidance, right? This is something they do plan on doing. Let's see, what else? Foothills adult ed graduation going to be in person this year at Advanced facility in Litchfield. So that's getting back to normal too. There's something out about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So things are getting back. That's it.
So for the high school, school governance met on April 5th and talked about a few things. There had been a good turnout for both PSAT and SAT. 100 families had attended spring parent-teacher conferences, and so there was some discussion on how to broaden that and how maybe to reach more parents in the future. One of the things that has come up is the presence of a high school PTO, which is currently lacking, and just that it would be great for people who wanted to get something like that going. Extended day program at that point had 80 students, and tonight we heard that there's 100. So it sounds like that's increased even in the last month, which is great.
True.
And then as far as what's going on right now, we've got sports, softball, baseball, golf, tennis, and track are all up and going. We've got the musical Niagara this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's limited seating, so you sign up online for free. Donations are accepted at the door. They've got the academic awards night, May 18th, prom, May 20th at the Inn at Mount Pleasant, and scholarship night on June 3rd.
I do have a four.
There you go. Go ahead, Kathy.
So, is anybody for, okay.
Go ahead.
All right, good thing I checked my email. I reached out to Joanne very late, so I truly appreciate her getting this to me. So in April, they celebrated National Poetry Month, sharing poems and original student poetry in their daily announcements. Student leadership helped us to celebrate Earth Day with a Spirit Day and can and bottle recycling drive, where they raised $300 for White Memorial. April is also International Guitar Month, and fifth grade teacher Ray Bader showed off some of his very cool guitar moves in their daily announcements. And fourth graders enjoyed a virtual field trip to Mystic Seaport on Explorers and Navigation. In May, fourth and fifth graders are taking the SBA tests, most in person, but many remote. And many thanks to our coaches for the high level of coordination that is required for smooth test administration. They're looking forward to planning some end of the year fun activities. And as always, kudos to our incredible Forbes family of educators for all they do.
So, great, thank you. All right. So we're going to be removing item 8A. There's no action for us to require for us to take. Entertain a motion to approve the monthly financials.
So moved.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jerry and Sue? Thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve policy number 3050, school activity funds.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve policy number 4003, sudden cardiac arrest awareness for intramural and interscholastic athletics.
So
You need to
moved.
make an acronym for that.
Second.
Yeah,
Second.
holy smokes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I'm on.
Ed, aye. Entertain a motion to approve the Federal Adult Education Program Enhancement Projects Grant.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the distinguished alumnus as recommended by the School Improvement Committee.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations,
Stephen?
Stephen Rutkowski.
Rutkowski.
Entertain a motion to approve the school calendar 2021-2022, understanding that there could possibly be a change to the half-days.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Entertain a motion pursuant to CGS section 10-215F. The Board of Education or governing authority certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organization and groups. We'll do that one first, and then we'll do the
Second.
second one.
John seconded.
Okay.
Armin and John.
Thank you.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Unanimous. Entertain a motion that the Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards and beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. Number one, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. Two, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or a school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held.
Second.
Yes, their language, not ours.
Armin, thank you.
Sorry.
Armand and Sue,
Just want to
Yep.
be speechless.
thank you.
It's like,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ed, are you in favor?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Unanimous? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the 3 Board of Ed meetings for the full board, March 24th and March 31st as a bundle.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Entertain a motion to receive the committee meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Ed?
Yep.
Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Items for upcoming agenda, we'll have monthly financials. We'll have 2021-22 budget.
American Rescue Act.
American Rescue Act.
Remote learning will probably be back, just with an update.
Yeah, remote learning. ESSER update.
Yeah.
Alliance update. Can we get that?
Yes, ESSER Alliance. Okay. And other things as they arise. Okay, comments for the good of the order. We'll start with John.
The Social Dilemma on Netflix. For any of you who are wondering what various devices our kids are using do to them, excellent movie. Gary, don't watch it.
Oh, I've already seen it.
I already saw it
I knew
too.
that
Yeah, I
5 years
saw it
ago.
too. Yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
Thank you. Kathy,
Oh, I'm good.
Gary,
Bill Gates says he's dating. Just see.
And he suggested I send him my number.
Just put it out there. He said he's
I'm
dating.
happily engaged. Nothing. Thank you. Great
Melinda will
meeting.
be too, right?
Yeah. She'll just be counting the billions.
all right, guys.
No, it was just nice to hear from Andrew and Maureen today. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to Torrington Duncan for sponsoring coffee for all the staff. The district today, they've been a great partner in really helping kind of the PTO celebrate the
Nice.
staff. So,
Great.
That was awesome.
so bye Duncan.
Every day.
No problem. Way ahead of you.
Ed, do you have any comment for the good of the order?
No, thank you.
Ellen?
All set, great meeting.
Jess?
No, thank you.
Armand?
Yes, thank you, everybody. What's the good work?
My only comment, the junior class is selling spirit wear, so if anyone is looking for some Torrington High School swag, they can let me know and I can send you the link. You order it right online. It's easy. So just let me know if you're interested in the link.
Yes.
Yeah.
My swag is
Yeah,
35 years old.
Yeah, it's actually got some nice stuff, so.
Yeah,
that would be great.
My own personal swag is old.
Okay, then we'll require everyone to wear a sweatshirt.
There you go. You'll have
T-shirt.
board attire.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay, Sue Ferguson, do you have anything for comments for the good of the order?
No, thank you.
I'm doing like the Brady Bunch squares. John? Do you have anything, John? You're muted.
Yeah, I got one. Sue wanted me to point this out. We did buy new cabinets for our kitchen. You can see them behind me. And I chose Raider Red.
Very nice.
Go, John.
Nice.
Go Raiders.
Maureen.
Thanks for inviting me to the party.
Andrew.
Thank you all for your continued support of everything we're doing here in Torrington.
Thank you. Ally.
I'm good, thank you.
Sue.
Much appreciation to all my staff at the site, central office. You are all awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Does that include us?
Yes.
We're
Expertise.
basically her staff.
It's a lot better.
I'm all set, thanks.
Ed. Kim.
No, thank you. We're recruiting, so, postings are up, so tell all your friends. We're looking to deepen our pool.
Marissa, we can't see your little. All right, future meetings as discussed with, I did it.
Oh,
She
you
said
did.
nothing. You didn't have anything.
No.
Okay, future meetings, the only change is that on May 12th will be school improvement and policy. There will be nothing on May 5th. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Second.
All those in favor?
Bye.
We are adjourned.